You wake up, and nothing feels worth getting up for. Not the things you used to love, not the people you care about, not even the day ahead. You are not depressed. You are not lazy. You are not ungrateful. Something inside your brain has quietly stopped working the way it should. And the worst part, you probably have no idea it is even happening to you right now. There is a chemical system deep inside your brain that controls your motivation, your pleasure, your drive, and your ability to feel alive. When that system is working, life feels worth pursuing. Goals feel exciting. Effort feels meaningful. Small things bring genuine joy. But when that system breaks down, and for millions of people it already has, everything changes. Quietly, gradually, completely. This is not about addiction. This is not about weakness. This is neuroscience. And it is one of the most important things you will ever understand about yourself. This is what happens to your brain when your dopamine system breaks down. Most people think dopamine is the pleasure chemical, the thing that makes you feel good. Science tells a far more complex and important story. Dopamine is primarily a motivation and anticipation chemical. It does not reward you for getting something. It drives you to go and get it. When you see something you want, food, connection, achievement, success, dopamine fires. It creates the feeling of craving, drive, and pursuit. Dopamine is the reason humans built civilizations. It is the engine behind every goal ever chased, every mountain ever climbed, every dream ever pursued. 13. Without healthy dopamine function, you lose the engine. Tasks feel pointless. Goals feel unreachable. Life loses its forward momentum entirely. Dopamine also plays a critical role in memory, focus, decision-making, emotional regulation, and your ability to feel connected to other people. Why inside your brain there are 4 major dopamine pathways, highways of neurons that carry dopamine signals to different regions. The most important for motivation and reward is the mesolimbic pathway, running from the ventral tegmental area deep in the brain to the nucleus accumbens. This pathway is sometimes called the reward circuit. Every time you achieve something meaningful, this pathway fires and reinforces the behavior. The second critical pathway runs to your prefrontal cortex, the thinking brain. Dopamine here controls focus, working memory, and rational decision-making. When both pathways are healthy and balanced, you are focused, motivated, emotionally stable, and capable of experiencing genuine satisfaction. But these pathways are extraordinarily sensitive. They can be damaged, depleted, and fundamentally altered by modern life in ways that were impossible just 30 years ago. Here is the core mechanism of dopamine system breakdown, and it starts with something called dopamine receptor. Every time dopamine floods your reward circuit, your brain responds by reducing the number of receptors available to receive it. This is your brain trying to protect itself from overstimulation, but the result is devastating. You need more dopamine just to feel normal. Think of it like this. The first time you heard your favorite song, it gave you chills. Now it barely registers. Your receptors adapted. The magic faded. This process, called tolerance, is not just happening with drugs and alcohol. It is happening with your phone, your social media, your food, your entertainment. Every endless scroll, every binge watch, every junk food hit, every notification dopamine spike, all of them quietly reducing your brain's ability to feel. Over time, your brain's baseline dopamine level drops. The world that used to feel colorful begins to feel gray, and you do not even notice it happening. So what does a depleted dopamine system actually feel like from the inside? The symptoms are so normalized today that most people think it is just who they are. The first and most devastating symptom is anhedonia, the inability to feel pleasure from things that used to bring genuine joy. Not sadness, not pain, just nothing. A flatness where joy used to live. This is and it is the hallmark of dopamine system breakdown. The second symptom is chronic amotivation, an inability to initiate tasks, pursue goals, or feel driven by anything, including things you genuinely care about. You know what you should do. You want to do it, but the signal that should drive you forward simply does not fire anymore. The third symptom is concentration collapse. Dopamine in the prefrontal cortex is essential for sustained focus. Without it, attention fragments completely. This is why so many people today feel like they have developed ADHD as adults. In many cases, it is not a disorder, it is a depleted dopamine system. The fourth symptom is emotional numbness, an inability to feel deeply connected to people, experiences, or even your own life. The fifth symptom is the perpetual restlessness, unable to sit still, unable to enjoy silence, always needing stimulation but never feeling satisfied by it. And the sixth, perhaps the most dangerous, is the complete loss of your sense of future. Goals stop feeling real. The future stops feeling worth building toward. So why is dopamine system breakdown happening at epidemic levels right now, in young, physically healthy people who have everything they need? The answer is supernormal stimuli. Modern technology delivers dopamine hits at a speed, intensity, and frequency the human brain was never designed to handle. Your brain evolved over millions of years in an environment where dopamine rewards were rare, meaningful, and required real effort to obtain. A berry found after hours of searching, a shelter built over days of effort, a relationship earned through months of genuine connection. Now, your brain receives hundreds of dopamine hits before you even get out of bed. Notifications, headlines, reels, messages, all engineered to stimulate. The engineers who built these platforms studied dopamine science obsessively. Variable reward schedules, infinite scroll, social validation loops, all deliberate. You are not addicted because you are weak. You are addicted because billion-dollar companies spent decades engineering the perfect dopamine trap. And it is not just screens. The modern food supply has been equally engineered to exploit your dopamine system. Ultra-processed foods are scientifically formulated combinations of sugar, salt and fat that hit your dopamine receptors harder than any natural food ever could. Real food, vegetables, protein, whole grains produces a modest, healthy dopamine response. A bag of chips produces a neurological explosion by comparison. After years of ultra-processed food, your dopamine receptors become so downregulated that natural food produces almost no response at all. Real flavor disappears. When the dopamine system reaches full breakdown, the consequences extend far beyond feeling unmotivated or bored. Severe dopamine depletion is now understood to be a core biological mechanism behind major depression, not just a side effect of it. It is also directly linked to the development of Parkinson's disease, where dopamine-producing neurons in the nigrostriatal pathway die permanently. Schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, and severe ADHD all involve profound dysregulation of the dopamine system at a structural, neurological level. This is not a lifestyle problem. This is not a mindset problem. This is a biological emergency happening inside millions of brains right now. But here is what neuroscience has confirmed with increasing certainty. The dopamine system is not permanently broken in most people. It can rebuild. The first and most powerful intervention is dopamine fasting, removing supernormal stimuli and allowing your receptors to upregulate back to sensitivity. Within 48 to 72 hours of removing high dopamine stimuli, your brain begins increasing receptor density. The world starts to feel slightly more real again. Hard, physical exercise is the single most evidence-backed way to restore dopamine system health, increasing both dopamine production and receptor sensitivity. Cold exposure, sunlight, meaningful social connection, and working toward real goals through real effort, all clinically shown to restore dopamine pathway health. That the ancient rewards still work. They still fire the system the way it was designed. Your brain has not forgotten how. It just needs to be given the chance. You are not built for this world's pace, but you were built to feel alive. The path back to that feeling is real, and it starts the moment you choose it.